Round two. I just got done with work. And the cat started yelling at me to go for a walk. And I decided to make a video and just got stopped by the cops because why would I be walking around? There's Poppy. The girls are right there, probably freaked out. Oh, God. Okay, so the point of the video is I kind of wanted to react to comments I got about the video I put up yesterday. Cats are still yelling. Kids are out playing. We have a crazy moon. There are actually 2 planets lined up with it in a straight line earlier tonight. Get walking away from the people. See wherever the cats are. Anyway, so one of the comments I got was I sounded really depressed in that video. The things I'm going to be talking about are kind of like classic signs of avoidant personality disorder, hence why I thought I should address them. I have anhedonia, which means that basically I sort of can't be happy. If there's a spectrum of how people are, you know, on one end is pure joy and on the other end is absolute despair. Most people have a baseline that's in the middle or maybe toward the happier side. And people with avoidant personality disorder across the board, you know, they're on the more depressed side. That's just my baseline. That's my normal. That's how it is. I may have sounded really bad. And I know I've had a scare earlier, which was weird. Earlier this year when I was, you know, full-blown, this is the deadline, I have to die. And I wasn't especially depressed. It was very weird, very strange. There's Poppy. The girls are down there under that light. Come on. See, yowling. What? Why are you yelling at me? I don't know, maybe I hide it better than other times. I mean, I was also really tired. That could be why maybe it was coming out so clear. But that's like my normal. I have, the anhedonia is part of avoidant personality disorder. It's one of the criteria that you can have in order to get a diagnosis. I also have, how do they call it? Treatment-resistant chronic depression. That is non-brain chemistry related, hence treatment resistant. That is not necessarily, it's not even not necessarily, it is definitely not one of the criteria for being avoidant. They are totally separate things. Very, very common that they are comorbid, however, because the lifestyle of a person who has avoidant personality disorder just living life the way it is, it causes depression, which again is part of the treatment resistant. I would have to change my lifestyle in order to maybe not be depressed. In other words, not be avoidant, which I can't do because I have a personality disorder that's set. Because I'm old, basically. I'm old enough that my personality is set, and therefore I can't really change it anymore. I'm past the time when I can change it. So there's that. Am I depressed? I don't think I'm much more depressed than normal. It's sad what went on with my son, for sure. And I don't like that it happened, for sure. But I'm actually not that much more depressed than normal. Maybe it's just coming through. For real. As sad as that is. The other thing was I had a comment on the video that said, and I'm paraphrasing, and I looked at it hours ago and I haven't seen it, but it basically said, well, I didn't stick up for myself, and so that's why people mistreat me. Oh, there's people there. I think we're going back. Come on, Pop. Why are there so many damn people out? It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, for Christ's sake. Anyway, come on, Pop. Which I immediately was like, oh, yeah, I probably did something to do with it. That, my reaction, that I'm taking the blame. This is not a diagnostic criteria, but I don't know what, I think maybe because it's so general, it can't be, in a nutshell, I've never talked to somebody with avoidant personality disorder that didn't do the exact same thing. That always sort of stepped up and took the blame for everything that happened. It's actually one of those things when you've got somebody who has borderline personality disorder and they're claiming they're avoidant. Are they taking the blame for their actions? Are they taking the blame for other people's actions? Are they thinking that somehow they are controlling other people without even trying and forcing them to behave in ways that are, not the nicest, and causing them to not make the best decisions, If they're pushing it off on somebody else, they're not avoidant. That's classic. That's absolutely classic. As far as, there's a diagnostic criteria, and then there is behavior that people actually do that can make you think, you hear him yelling at me? He's still yelling at me. What's your problem? But that's one of them. If you are constantly taking the blame for things that are really not your fault, which, again, this is one of the things that happens when somebody has been abused, which somebody else pointed out. And that was a double-edged sword seeing that. It was like, oh my God, somebody's like on my side and is trying to defend me. Like, whoa, that's like really nice and a very weird thing because nobody does that. And on the other hand, I felt scolded for not noticing it because, of course, that's the way I'm supposed to rewrite everything, from a positive or a true or both intention to something that I can use to attack myself and, keep the integrity of my self-image as like utterly terrible and incompetent. Yeah. Again, classic avoidance. That's why it used to be a diagnostic criteria of underemployment. Whoa. I should not be watching the cat and trying to walk and talk at the same time. That doesn't work. Anyway, so underemployment used to be a diagnostic criteria, and it's too difficult to sort of quantify that. So now again, that's a behavior that, it's classic. I mean, like, I have people try to throw it in my face. I'm like, excuse me, I think I'm doing okay. Maybe I'm not doing the American ideal, and I'm, but yes, it's true. I have a master's degree, and I'm not quote unquote using it. Using it would be, being a professor in a college, which is actually almost impossible. I've got a terminal degree, which means you can't get a PhD in what my field is, and yet almost all colleges require somebody to get a PhD, even if you have a terminal degree, and blah, blah, blah. So very, very few actual jobs in a university teaching that would have my exact field. They exist. I'm not doing that. And I don't know. I mean, the person who throws it in my face, of course, number one is my son, because he throws everything in my face. He's like, Mom, you have this degree and you're doing nothing with it, and blah, 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 because that distracts from him doing nothing. But I mean, he's 18. He's not supposed to be doing much, but still. Anyway, I mean, a total distraction by trying to knock my legs out from under me. Yeah. I'm getting off track. That has nothing to do with these comments. But yeah, those comments, the ones that that I wanted to point out as, these are actual signs of somebody with avoidant personality disorder. Is the one is seeming depressed when that's just like my baseline. Another cat's yelling at me. The second is taking blame for other people's actions. And then the third is my reaction to somebody trying to stick up for me or whatever, which is, the first reaction is, oh, how very nice, and, how strange. Perry, it's coming from another set of woods. Where the heck have you been, cat? Where were you? Were you chasing mice? And who knows what else? Anyway, is to have that is probably what would be considered the legitimate reaction to somebody trying to help you out and stick up for you, but then to override it with some sort of turn it into criticism, because that's what I do. Perry's being crazy. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what Pixie's doing. They're all being weird. I think I need to go give them some treats. Then they'll all line up and be relatively normal. But now I've seen 4. I haven't seen Percy. Where's Pixie going? Oh, she's back. There's Pixie. There's Poppy. And there's Perry. I'm not staying on track. I'm really sorry about that. And this is sort of a convoluted and longer and wordier message than needs to be. But I thought it was interesting. I was having these really classic AVPD behavioral type reactions to the comments that I was getting on that last video. And since I'm doing my own self-analysis and saying, hey, well, there, bing, 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 checking off the list, being totally normal and average person with avoidant personality disorder with these abnormal reactions to the comments. I thought I would put that out there so that other people could maybe do their own sort of self-realization when they see that they're behaving in X, Y, or Z way. That basically recognize it and say, oh yes, this is the avoidance, and then give yourself a break about it, because if you're really young, you can do a ton of therapy, and I've seen it firsthand that you can take a personality disorder and work on it enough to shift those maladaptive behaviors to the point where you're not technically having a personality disorder anymore. And so that your life is better than it would be if you had the full-blown personality disorder. I can't even tell who's crying at me now. But otherwise, if you have a personality disorder and you act like you have a personality disorder, then acknowledge it and then give yourself a break, because it is what it is. And it's normal for you. So don't beat yourself up for having a normal for you reaction. Okay, I'm going to shut up because I'm just going to ramble and say the same things over and over and over again. Same old things. And the cats have finally shut up, which means that maybe I can get a break for the rest of the night myself.